from the Focus home screen is we're going to navigate down to the bottom right and just select the Tag Templates button here. So this will pop out your tagging template into a separate window, and it'll load up the last template that you selected from the drop-down. Now, as part of the software, you should receive some pre-built templates already in there for football, rugby. I think there's also a generic one as well. To build out your own, the first thing I would do is come across to the top right, and you're going to have the option here to add a new template. You also have the ability to clone the existing template that we have selected on the drop-down menu, and you can also export and more importantly import templates from other sources. In this video, I'm going to go through building out a template from scratch. I'm just going to hit add a template. I'm going to be prompted to name the template. This is what will appear in the drop-down menu at the top. Okay, so as soon as you hit OK, you're going to be presented with a blank template. The next thing you're going to do is come up to the top left-hand corner where you've got your Tag Template Designer button. So if you select that, you're going to enter the designer mode, whereby across the top you'll now see that you've got tags, labels, images, text, and outputs unveiled to you. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a tag. So if I just click and drag that onto the screen, you're then going to be prompted to give that a name. A tag will create a timestamp on your timeline. So if there's an instance of footage that you want to clip, you're best off using the tag button to do that. Okay, so once we've created our tag, on the right hand side here, you should have your behavior properties. So just going from the top down, we have the ability to edit the name that you've already created. I can also assign a unique ID to this tag. Here I can toggle a key binding or a hotkey. So for example, if I wanted to assign the key S to shot home, I'll just click into the field there and then type your shortcut. I can also edit the color which is going to appear on the timeline from here. Below that, we're getting into some of the settings around how the tag will function. Now, the first of which is a manual start and end. So if this is left unchecked, the tag will default to the pre and post roll that you have set down here. If we save this and come back into tagging mode, and I select my shot home tag, the length of that tag would be 6 seconds. If I select manual start and end time, the user will have to turn the tag on and off. Below that, you have reactivate post roll. So if this is checked, let's say I create a tag on the timeline and then within the post roll duration, I select the tag again, it is just going to lengthen the original tag by the post roll duration that you've got set here. If this is unchecked, it's going to create 2 tags on your timeline. Below that, here you've got pop-up notes, which you can say, right, I want a notes box to pop up when I activate or deactivate a particular tag, and then you can have a little notes prompt below that. We also have the ability to add in a tooltip. So if you are sharing this template with other users in your organization, they have some reference as to what each tag or label should be used for and in what context. And then below that, we've got the pre and post roll, which we've already covered. Lastly, we've got the page switch. Now, currently at the top here, we are operating off a single page, but we do have the ability to add more pages by coming to the top right here and selecting the plus button, whereby we'll add a second page. Beauty of this is it enables you to split out components of your tagging template onto different pages. So not everything is crammed into one single page, and you've got lots of tiny little labels which you then have to navigate through, and it makes it hard to find what you're looking for. If you split it out, it reduces the amount of mouse travel, and you could have a dedicated page for different functions. So for example, if I just dive into a pre-built one, in this example here, we've got the overview page. If I select, let's say, any of these attempt actions, I can set it so it jumps to page 2, where I can fill out any additional information, and then upon filling out the last piece of information, I can have it jump back. If I go back to my shot home, under page switch here, I can say on activation, I want to change to page 2, and it'll jump to page 2. Lastly, below that, we have edit links. If I select this, it gives you the ability to activate other tags, deactivate other tags, and be used exclusively with other tags. So an example of this would be, let's say we have in possession and out of possession. And let's say I had these two tags set to manual start and end times. I could edit links or exclusive links between my in and out of possession. So if one is active, the other is turned off, and vice versa. So they can't be used in conjunction with one another. Okay, scrolling down, we have the visual properties, and we have the ability to change the width and height, the positioning in terms of the X and Y coordinates of the tagging template. I can change the rotation, show and hide, tag and label names. We have the ability to show an output contained within a tag or label. So if I just press that button, it will pre-build your output window, which I'll come on to in a little bit. If I hit OK, you'll see that a counter of the output is displayed within the tag or label button itself. Scrolling down, you've got the ability to toggle kind of text font size, whether icons are shown or hidden, and if the hotkeys that you've got applied are hidden as well. You can also add in images into the background or tweak the background color and the opacity of the tag or label as well. Largely, the behavior properties and visual properties will be the same, but there will be some slight differences between tags, labels, images, text boxes, and outputs. Now, if I add in some labels on that second page, so if we continue around the shot theme, if I say I want a label that is on target and off target. Labels are used to apply more information to the tag that you've created. So for example, if I were to create a shot home, I could then apply additional information to that tag, whether the shot was on target or off target. Now, again, if I select one of those labels that I've just created, pretty much all of the visual properties remain the same, but there are some changes to the behavior properties, namely the ability to create a group. So in here, I could apply the same group to both of these because they both belong to a shot accuracy descriptor. Again, I can apply a key binding, so I can hotkey my labels as well. I also have the ability to add in what we term a global label. An example of a global label would be a piece of information that is enduring for the whole session or long durations and that barely changes. An example of this would be either like the fixture name or whether the team is, I don't know, winning. so drawing or losing. And what will happen with these global labels is if I select a global label, so if I say at the beginning of the game, the score is level, and I select that, that drawing label will be applied to every tag that I create from this point forwards until it's turned off and another one is toggled on, for example. Going back, again, you have the ability to add in tooltips. I can also change pages well, and you've also got the ability to apply links. Moving across the top, I have the ability to add in images. So for example, if I drag on an image, I can hit browse and I can go and locate an image from my library and I can input that into my tagging template. I can also do the same with text. And I can edit the contents of this field on the right hand side here. And then lastly, outputs. If I drag an output onto the window here, I can start to create calculations using the output calculation window. For example, if I want to count the number of home shots, I can select that from the list if I just start typing shot. You can interact with the following symbols: plus, subtract, multiply, divide, show as a percentage of, and you've got open and close brackets as well. Please note when creating calculations, you will have to press return on each of these symbols for them to take effect. On the right hand side here, I can give the output a name. And I can choose whether that is synced at the point which my player head is in the timeline, or whether it's a summary of the entire timeline. I can display that as a counter, a bar chart, or a time. And I can choose how many decimal places. If, for example, I wanted to count tags with certain labels applied to it, I click into it. I can then move down to containing labels and I can say, right, I want to see a count of all shots made by the home team that were on target, and I can select that. You see here we've also got the global labels which you can apply to that calculation as well. So as with any of these, you can copy and I can paste. Command C, Command V function, or Control C and Control V function will work on Macs and PCs. Moving up to the top here, so here I've built out the majority of this tagging template in the Tag Template Designer, but I also have the ability to view all of my tag types in my tag types view at the top here, and this will just list all of the tags that I've created from the page that I'm in. In page 1, yes, we created some tags, but in page 2, we didn't create any tags, and that's why the list will be blank. So just be mindful of which page you have selected. In here, I can edit all of these things in bulk. So here I can change key bindings, hotkeys. I can assign unique IDs, change tag names, colors, pop-up notes, any tag settings and page switches in here. So we also provide the same for label types. So, and again, that will behave in the same way. So it will show the labels on the page that you have selected. And then to the right of that, we can show any links that exist between tags. So if you remember earlier, we set up an exclusive link between the in possession and out of possession tags, and they're just displayed down at the bottom here. you can filter across the top here, and you can also create links selecting this button. So I can say, right, I want to create a link from this tag or label to this tag or label. It's important to note you can create exclusive links between labels and tags. So for example, if I only wanted my on-target and off-target labels to be exclusive with my shot home, I can do that from here. So if I try and use those labels with any other tag, I won't be able to. Once you've finished, just make sure you hit save. Press this button to revert back into a tagging mode. If you then want to use this within an archive session, just be sure to cross this off. And if I open up an archive session that I've already created, that will appear in the drop-down menu on the right-hand side.